Farouk here with genConnect.com, and we're chatting with Nate Silver from 538 and the New York Times. How are you, Nate?
I'm good, thank you.
What should we be talking about right now? A lot of people are saying that it doesn't make sense to be talking about 2016 yet. What is the most constructive conversation that we can be having?
Well, it depends on what your objective is, right? Whether I think there's certainly more at stake in 2016 than in 2014. The reason I say that is no matter what happens in 2014, you're still going to have a Democratic president. You're almost for sure going to have Republicans in charge of at least one branch of Congress, one chamber, I should say. They could win the Senate. I don't think they'll lose the House, though, and that means you're still going to have a divided government. So that makes 2016, where everything controls at stake, the bigger year. I think it's not necessarily as early as you might think to talk about 2016. The reason being, the way campaigns work now, it really takes almost 4 years to run a presidential campaign, right? The visible part is much shorter, still way too long for most people, right? But but there's a lot of groundwork and legwork and prep work the candidates have to do to position themselves, to raise money, to build teams that really starts almost as soon as the prior election ends. And this year in particular, or 2016 in particular, where you have an open nomination in both parties, pretty rare thing. Only I think 4 or 5 times prior to this, since World War II, have you had this occur. So that makes it a really exciting year, but also means that the jockeying positioning begins even earlier.
Right, which is why so many people are already talking about it so passionately.
Sure. I mean, look, everything that Marco Rubio is doing right now is through the lens of what if I want to run for president in 2016. Right. Everything that Scott Walker or Chris Christie or a lot of these people are doing, they are at least they're not all going to run, but they're at least using that as a consideration. So it begins to affect and govern behavior even right now.
How about Paul Ryan?
Paul Ryan is a guy who's been a lot quieter, I think, than other people whom you think might run.
Surprising. Would you think he would leverage the attention that he's already received?
Well, I'd say Paul Ryan is a guy who, number one, he is, if you talk about the next in line, I don't totally buy this theory, but he clearly was the vice presidential nominee last time. I don't think helped Romney a lot, but also didn't embarrass himself. He did fine.
And he could have, being put in the public eye like that. Yeah. There's so many opportunities.
So he's been vetted. There weren't really any vetting. There's this minor marathon thing, which is kind of, these silly stories, but he survived the vetting relatively well, right? And he can raise money really fast if he wants to. So he's a guy who can have the luxury of waiting it out. Yeah. But he's not going to there's no one in the GOP that can clear the field the way that Hillary Rodham Clinton could on the Democratic side.